Lem, we were here last year. We had a lot of conversations about the first fight when it was over. It was close. I think we both agreed that the decision was the right decision, but it was a close decision. Now this fight, both people have had the equal time to train for one another. What do you think the outcome is going to be this time?
I think that it's still very inconclusive on a lot of people's minds. I think that, you know, Paul Williams obviously has had the time to prepare. He says he's focused. That, to me, is valid. You know, the question that I think is out there, maybe not everybody said it, but a few people have said it, and I've asked you, is whether or not Paul, having absorbed more damage than any other fight he's ever had, has lost a step or anything like that. Criticism, you know, from some people, oh, well, he should have beat this guy regardless. They maybe discount the notion that he didn't have time to prepare. I don't necessarily agree.
I'm devil's advocate. This is a conversation.
Absolutely.
Like not even an interview standpoint, but, you know, it's kind of like there's also a get back factor.
Oh, absolutely.
People talking all that crap about how I should have did this, I should have did that. You want to prove your critics wrong sometime. And the training regimen that I've seen him do, I mean, he's putting in the work that he has to do. And he's still going to throw over 1,000 punches in this fight if it does go 12 rounds.
This is what I thought, okay? I thought exactly what you're saying. I thought that he left that ring, and after a couple weeks of hearing some of the indecision on people's parts, he was still focused on Martinez. Very much like he may have been still focused on Pavlik, even though he was facing Martinez. I know George Peterson was very upset with Pavlik. He said, this guy doesn't have a hand injury, he has a heart problem. You know, maybe until after fighting Martinez, there may not have, now I think there's a transference of that. The transference has been on Martinez. So when he fought Kermit Cintron, even while training for Cintron, he's got he's maybe looking over his shoulder saying, man, this guy is getting what I should be getting. I beat him. Why is he fighting, you know, Kelly Pavlik?
There it is there, as the most avoided fighter. Kelly Pavlik didn't want to have to fight Paul Williams, so hence Martinez got him. Martinez took his belts, and now Paul Williams is going to be in a position he wants to be in to get a chance to get the belts. But again, how can you say he's got a step, he's lost a step?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Those are some perceptions that are out there. I'm not saying that those are some perceptions.
Not your opinion.
No. I mean, I asked you because I heard it.
And
I said, hey, what do you think? Now, part of that also was based on, again, when I interviewed Sergio, because he was at ringside for the Cintron fight.
I remember.
I interviewed him. He said, this is not the same guy I fought. He said he seemed a little, you know, hesitant and that kind of thing. Again, those are perceptions that you hear.
With Kermit Cintron, we heard Paul's trainer, George Peterson, tell him, I don't want you to go out in your normal way, throwing a lot of punches. I want you to pace yourself. So this was a plan that they had going into the fight. And, you know, Kermit Cintron had Ronnie Shields over there in this corner, too, who's a very smart guy. You know that he's a boxing aficionado. He's like, hey, he knows your style. He knows what you're doing. So he's got Cintron ready for you in this way. So we're changing gears and we're going to go this way. Now, as the fight started heating up in that third round, you could see the Paul Williams of old starting to come out. The fighter that you saw with Williams-Martinez versus Williams-Cintron was the same fighter. Two different fights, two different styles for two different occasions. Martinez thinks that he was apprehensive when he saw that fight. But that's a totally different thing. He was training for Cintron. So Cintron had this notion that Paul's going to come in straight, throw a barrage of punches. Oh, wait a minute. Now I'm out of my game. Paul's not throwing a barrage of punches. He's actually boxing. He's using his reach. He's working me at this angle. Oh, no, now it's starting to heat up. Allah, let me fall out of the ring.
I watched that video. I don't think he fell out of the ring.
No, he jumped out of the ring.
I don't think that happened. No. But I think that there may be some, there could be some You know,
there could be limos right there. He fell out right in front of me.
Okay, but
and he laid on the table and then he rolled on the ground.
I hear you saying that. From my perspective, I don't think he jumped out of the ring.
It's all said and done. The Paul Williams that fought Cintron was giving him a different look.
Right.
The Paul Williams that fought Martinez last year was doing all balls out, Paul Williams, right? And it worked to a close decision.
There's so many things that could have factored into Paul Williams not fighting the right fight that night. That's one thing. Paul may have been focused more on Pavlik, so you have the lack of preparation thing. He told me when he was in D.C., when he attended the Mosley Mayweather press conference that was in D.C., that there was a mentality in him that, man, this is a great fight. I want to get in here and I want to. George was telling him to do certain things. He never made the adjustment. He kept going back to fighting. He said he probably could have fought a better fight, but his mentality was, man, this is a great fight. I'm into it. You know, the fighter in him took over. Shifting to this fight, this is now the fight that he wants. This is the fight that he has wanted for a long time. There is a notion that he's going to be completely focused on this fight, and that he's going to fight the fight that he needs to fight, because this is the fight that'll get him what he wants. Potentially a Pacquiao, put him in the Pacquiao sweepstakes. As far as Martinez is concerned, you know, I want to know if this guy can handle the pressure that is now on him. He was the chaser up until his last fight.
You feel like, look, I earned this. This didn't come easy. I earned this. This is mine.
Right.
And then now with Paul's standpoint, that should be mine.
Exactly.
And I'm going to take that.
Exactly.
And then once I take that, then what are the people going to say? Because I had a complete camp to train with this guy.
Right.
So they both say excuses. Martinez says Paul Williams had excuses, but that's, I think, a fact and that no one will deny. They were training for Pavlik. Who's a right-handed fighter.
Until the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Last 2 or 3 weeks. So that's not just necessarily an excuse. That's a fact.
And there's some frustration. There was a lot of frustration.
Give Martinez credit for coming up and still warn the way he did.
There's a lot of frustration on the part of George Peterson, specifically because he was saying that in his mind there was something else going on. Okay? There has been speculation that things are going on that are personal with Kelly. Now, George's words, even though people haven't gone back, and if you read some of what he said, okay, now all of this other stuff has come out. I'm not going to go because I don't have any, you know, solid proof. But there are other issues that Kelly was dealing with. He just pulled out of another fight, okay? Were those issues, did he fight Martinez in spite of those issues? Did that take something away from his performance? So, you know, this is all stuff.
Martinez fought a great fight against Pavlik, regardless of personal issues and all that. If you're not ready to get in there and fight, don't fight.
Bottom line is this, okay? They're fighting, okay? We're going to see. We're going to see. We should be able to see definitively, okay, if all the things that Paul has said are valid. I was focusing on Kelly Pavlik. You know, I was going to come back. I was fighting a different style against Cintron. I was going to execute my game plan, you know. So if all of that stuff should be validated by whether one wins and one loses.